Hello, good evening, televiewers. You're welcome to Prime Hour on My Media Prime. It is the 20th of May 2021. We this year are going to be looking at national unity, looking at what has to be fixed after 49 years of celebrating national unity. We are talking about on the National Day, May 20th. This day we are going to be discussing with our regular panelists who are in the house, also knowing that Cameroon is confronted with many social crises, regional and other crisis that is putting our national unity to question, a concept that has been so dear to the President of the Republic, His Excellency President Paul Biya and his government. A lot has been said about national unity, national integration, but many persons are asking what went wrong, what did not work out for Cameroon to find itself in the situation in which we are today. Also asking how we can work to get ourselves out of the current impasse, knowing that up north Cameroon is faced with the issues of Boko Haram. In the northwest and southwest regions, we are faced with the Anglophone crisis. We have seen situations of tribalism in the south, and during the last presidential elections, we saw a lot of divide between the people of the Sanaga Maritime, those from the west region, and the coastal persons. So what is not working well in Cameroon, and how do we as a people fix what is eating this effort to put Cameroonians look and walk towards the same direction? We are discussing this with the panelists who are already in the house. Our consultant, Paul Solambe Valentine Gua, is with us this evening. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, Cameroonians. Good evening, my co-panelists. 49 years after unification, we are yet to decipher the mystery behind these 49 years. And we know Cameroonians are fixed and glued to their screen to listen to what we're going to be sharing with the other panelists tonight. Thank you, and I give glory to God for the privilege to be here tonight.
Okay, we're also in the company of Andre Natemi Bako. He is a Pan-Africanist. Good evening, Andre, and welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kum Leonard, and to all the viewers of My Media Prime. And I want to send out a special greetings to every viewer at this particular moment. Thank you very much.
Okay, also with us is Dr. Simon Marcel, who is representing the CPDM on this platform this evening. Good evening, Doctor, and welcome.
Merci, bonsoir, Mr. Kum, bonsoir, co-panélistes, bonsoir à vous, Midi, téléspectateurs, je crois. C'est un plaisir d'être là. J'aurais bien envie de dire fête de l'unité nationale à tous, parce que nous sommes dans cette mouvance-là, même si c'est de manière symbolique que nous marquons, n'est-ce pas, un instant pour le patriotisme, pour accompagner, n'est-ce pas, notre pays dans des différentes crises, que ce soit sanitaires ou bien sécuritaires actuellement. Et puis c'est ça comment je vais appeler, c'est ça l'unité nationale, c'est ça le vivre ensemble, c'est ça tout ce qu'on voudrait voir aujourd'hui sur un Camerounais qui célèbre l'unité nationale. C'est un plaisir d'être là.
Okay, we also in the company of Edmond Kwate. He is an economist and a Pan-Africanist. He is a very active member of the civil society. Good evening, Edmond. You've been away for some time now.
Yeah, sure. Good evening, Leo, and good evening to all my co-panelists. It's always a pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Edmond, you've been away, and many persons have been asking, Edmond, est-ce qu'il a voyagé?
Yeah, I got to apologize, to all the televiewers. I know they've been asking questions. They want to know my whereabouts. But I just want to tell them, to reassure them that being away does not mean I don't give interest to this program. That's the contrary. I give a lot of interest to this program, but the fact is, we get a lot of challenge, day in, day out, we get a lot of challenge, and most of the time we get, we don't have enough time, to be able to respond positively to your invitation. So I just want to reassure all the televiewers that each time I get a bit of time, I will be here.
Okay, we are also glad to be once again alive and be here to be able to discuss this program with you people, especially those of you watching us from across the nation. Yesterday, we were not around. We went to Yaoundé to follow up other issues. That is why we were not here yesterday. But we want to thank God that we came back safely and are going to be discussing this topic this evening. If you are watching us and want to participate in this edition of the program, if you think you have something to say about the 20th May celebration, you can do a short video and send to me. We are going to play it during this program, or you just participate in the discussions by sending a text message. I am going to read them out this evening. I'll start with you, Apostle Ambe Valentine Ngwa. Your assessment of national unity 49 years after.
20th May 1972, two Cameroons came together because they said, in quotes, they could not manage the federal system of government, which was very, very expensive to manage. And since then, we've been living as a nation, United Republic of Cameroon, before it became the Republic of Cameroon. For these 49 years, it has not been easy. There have been constant squabbles between the two persons who came together. We've had a lot of misunderstandings amongst ourselves. Even though we are integrated, we live together, but the challenge has been enjoying or eating together. And this has caused a lot of different school of thoughts until some people began criticizing the unification, saying that it was a manipulation. People were not interested in being united together. But nevertheless, we all came together, and we have had a lot of challenges until, because of so much pressure from the English-speaking section of the country, in 1996, the idea of a special status was brought up to at least appease those who came from the English speakers of the country. I stumbled across a resignation letter by Jongu Foncha from the CBDM party in 1990. He tabled a lot of pertinent things that he felt like he had submitted to the ruling government in question, and the government neglected it. And special status also lasted for another 23 years, which till date we are yet to find out the validity and the veracity of that special status. So a lot of school of thoughts have come up until the question now is a form of the state, which we are dumb in between three opinions: either a unitary system, either federation, going back to federation, or confederation, or better still, a group of persons are asking for secession. So if at all we are in this dilemma today, it is because for the past 49 years, the unification has not been validated by so many people, and it does not have the capacity to sustain the well-being of the country. I think that we should look into it properly, compare and contrast it with our former government, and also ascertain other governments in the world to see how to put something that will make us live together and not to live in differences.
Okay, Andrew Natime Bako, you are also very conversant with what is happening in Cameroon today. Would you say it is a day worth celebrating, or a day of stock taking, reflecting to redefine a way forward?
Mr. Leo, that is a very interesting question, but the way I look at it is I look at it in the light that we must be able to redefine what unification is and the instruments that were used in the so-called unification in 1972. And looking at it from the historic point of view, that should not have been a day of unity, or we should not have been here today celebrating how will I call it, the unity of Cameroon's sovereignty. That should have been a reunification and not a unification, because these are two people from the same origin. They might be vary based on their languages, which they adopted from their colonial master, but that does not, how will I put it, that does not erase the fact that these are common people from the same origin. So that should have been a reunification. So the 1972 that we are here today to talk about, to me, it's like it is an indication of a symbolic moment where Cameroon made a very huge mistake from where it was coming from. Because if you look at the 1972 unification, it came as a result of a very few handful of people who felt they were being marginalized by their own brothers from the northwest part of the English side of Cameroon. those were few hands of the elites of the Southwest that had to report to the then president at that period, who was Amadou Ahidjo, that they were not being favored at the level of their union with their own English brothers at that time. So that was the main reason why Ahidjo had to abolish that federal system and then brought in the United Republic of Cameroon. So we should be on, we should take to our notice that that particular event was reminding us that Cameroon was going into further, how will I put it, conflicts, crises, and things that would set the Cameroonians apart. Because when we talk about unity, we should be able, Mr. Leo, to redefine what unity is, and the instrument which should have been used to bind the people together. Because if you use either a language, you use other materials which does not seem to assimilate a people, I don't think that is an approach which at that period should have been done. Because the only thing so far that binds us in Cameroon, Mr. Liu, is a currency. Apart from the currency we are using, there's no other thing that binds us as one people. Every other thing has only kept us as, apart. Because anything, Mr. Liu, that is not able to bring a people together, that thing must be set aside. That means that this day that we are celebrating today should be abolished, because it has not brought the Cameroonians together. The purpose for this day, the intention for which this day was brought in, is not serving the purpose. Rather, it has split this country into so many other divisions, and we have so many conflicts due to this particular event that we are celebrating today. So, Mr. Leo, in my final analysis on this particular topic, this event should have been abolished. Cameroon should have grown beyond the stage where it begins to celebrate days like this that reminds people from a very huge mistakes which they did in the past. So this is not a day Cameroonians should celebrate. Thank you very much.
Dr. Simo, I don't know whether you buy what he is saying, but would you say this is a day to celebrate, to tell the world that we have come a long way from where we started?
Permettez, Mr. Léo, avant d'entrer dans la question de on va la célébrer ou pas, moi je voudrais qu'on revienne sur l'histoire, comme a commencé le confrère. Et l'histoire a ceci de particulier, c'est qu'il nous permet non seulement de comprendre ce qui s'est passé, mais de préparer le futur. Parce qu'aujourd'hui, remettre en question la date du 20 mai 1972, c'est un tout petit peu se lever aujourd'hui et dire je ne veux pas dire nos ancêtres, mais nos aînés ou des personnes qui nous ont précédés n'ont pas valu la peine. Vous conviendrez avec moi, et ça tout le monde le sait, que lorsqu'il fallait joindre les deux Cameroun anglophones et francophones, il y avait déjà un désir pour le Cameroun anglophone de se retrouver du côté du Nigeria. Donc ça a été d'un commun accord. Moi, ce que je voudrais souligner, c'est que cette date soit prise de manière symbolique, même si on refuse de la prendre historiquement. On peut se dire sur le plan historique qu'il y a des manquements qui n'ont pas, il y a des règles qui n'ont pas été clairement identifiées. C'est pourquoi aujourd'hui on arrive à ce que nous arrivons là. Ou alors il y a des règles ou des contrats qui n'ont pas été respectés. Mais dire au jour d'aujourd'hui que cette date n'est pas significative, c'est un peu remettre en cause même sa qualité ou sa nationalité même de Camerounais. Parce qu'on sait des gens qui sont battus pour cette indépendance jusqu'à cette unification là. Et on ne peut pas au jour d'aujourd'hui dire non, ça ne sert à rien. Voilà un peu ce qu'il est question. Maintenant, je peux comprendre qu'il y a eu, n'est-ce pas, des manquements ou alors des éléments qui n'ont pas été observés. Ben, c'est normal et c'est logique, du moment où la société, elle est dynamique. Hier, les problématiques de 1972, vous conviendrez avec moi, ne sont pas les problématiques d'aujourd'hui. Donc, on peut accorder, n'est-ce pas, un certain nombre de raisonnements ou de réflexions aux personnes qui ont signé ces accords. Parce qu'à cette période-là, il y avait un ensemble d'engagements ou alors de modes de vie qui devraient être respectés. Mais au jour d'aujourd'hui, on a une autre orientation. Donc on ne peut pas se dire aujourd'hui que la date de 20 mai 1972, c'est une date qui doit être modifiée, c'est une date qui ne sert à rien. Non, je peux comprendre qu'il y a des choses qui doivent être améliorées. Et l'autre élément, il ne faudrait pas qu'à chaque fois qu'on parle de l'unité nationale, on commence à dire, comme je l'ai entendu, dire non, on a plusieurs éléments qui nous diversifient. Non. Et c'est même ça la force du Cameroun.
Non, mais
cette diversité-là.
Personne n'a dit
Bon,
cela.
moi, ce que j'ai mal compris.
Non.
Cette diversité, que ce soit linguistique, que ce soit culturelle, que ce soit culinaire, devrait constituer en fait la force du pays qui est le Cameroun. D'ailleurs, sont ces diversités qui donnent du Cameroun l'Afrique en miniature.
Ok.
La preuve, lorsqu'on, si vous permettez de chuter, lorsqu'on me montrait Manu Dibango de l'autre côté, moi j'avais du plaisir et en ce moment-là, tous on se retrouvait. On ne disait plus non, c'est un Sawa, c'est un musicien, mais on était fiers, assis avec des amis en disant non, c'est mon frère Camerounais. Donc je voulais qu'on prenne ces diversités pour en faire des forces. Et lorsqu'on parle de l'unité nationale, je crois que c'est le seul jour où chaque citoyen devait marquer un temps de patriotisme pour son pays.
Okay. Now, Edmond Kwate, we saw 1972, there was that movement from Federal Republic of Cameroon to United Republic of Cameroon. There was that transition, and there was a motivation for that transition from one form to the other. And I'm sure one of the key reasons was to get the country better united. Do you think that it was a mistake? Is the country better united today because of that decision?
No, it's very easy today. It might appear very easy today to judge what happened in the past.
In the past, yeah.
No, we got to be very careful. If you want to, analyze what happened in the history, make sure you put things in their context. In their particular context. If you can't just come today and then bring a judgment on what happened in 1972, because those of 1972 they had their challenges, which is quite different from what we're having today. Like for instance, Amadou Ahidjo in 1972, he was a president. He was then the president of the country, and then he had some problems that are not really. All these problems are not even put on the table today. You can't really know what was going on in 1972. We're trying to say this was going on. We wanted to bring Anglophone and Francophones together. Somebody will say there was a referendum, and then some people were cheated. They brought, there was a question that was not real. All these people are trying to say this. But I want to say it's not, people should not think it is very easy, to put on the table what happened in 1972. What I know is that there was a good intention to bring a country together. There was a good intention. There was no evil intention in doing that. I think so. Because you had leaders from both sides, leaders from the Anglophone side, you had leaders from the Francophone side, and they sat together and they thought, they could, come together. For sure, there were a lot of mistakes along the way. After 1972, between 1972 up to date, there have been a lot of mistakes. Because today we are talking about national unity in a context whereby the country is divided by a war, by a crisis that has been going on in the Northwest and Southwest for the past 5 years, and we still not yet to be able to find a solution to that. We're still not yet to be able to bring peace in the Northwest and Southwest. And I would like to say that before you see a situation like the situation going on now in the Northwest and Southwest, it simply is a consequence of a lot of frustrations, a lot of problem that has not been solved along the way. It's not just something sudden that come like that. No, that's why I'm saying along the way there have been mistakes that has not been corrected properly. There have been problems set on the table without proper solution. That we have to agree. So that's why I think today what we must focus on is how can we bring Cameroonian back together on the table? How can we? That is my main concern. How can we bring all this Cameroon? Because if today we want to, go into what divide us the more, we are not helping the situation. What can we do to come back together? We are men, we are reasonable men. So if we cannot really sit together and then look for solution to our problems. It means we are not reasonable people. So I think today we should be asking ourselves, how can we, come back to the table, same as our leaders did in 1972. They sat on the table. I'm sure they made some mistakes. Nothing is perfect in this world.
Okay.
So how can we correct what's happened along the way at mistake? What can be the solution to bring back all these people on the table and then try to rebuild up the national unity, which is very dear to each of us.
Okay, Wesley Angoni Tiku, good evening to you. Mumu in Klusam, good evening to you, and to you Ndukong. Etwa Gabriel Elung, good evening to you. Maximilian Mark, and to you Stefan. All of you watching us through social media, good evening to you. Apostle Ambe Valentine Gwa. We are talking about national unity, but we also know that recently we've seen what is commonly called Memorandum de la Damawa, Grand Nord. We have seen from almost every part of Cameroon, people are rather identifying themselves more with their regions and tribes, when we know that the government has always spoken of national unity, national integration. What is not working?
Yes. The truth is, every nation has its own system of government. And the earlier we acknowledge the fact that what we are trying to implement in Cameroon is not working in the context of Cameroon, the better.
Okay.
Nations like Nigeria had the same problems like any other country, and they decided to bring out a 10-state federation. It was Lord Lugard that conducted the amalgamation of the northern and the southern Nigeria. They came together. When they came together, they realized that there was a lot of ethnicity, division, nepotism, and tribalism. In order to solve the crisis, they decided to give each particular state a certain level of autonomy to run their affairs, whereby they stay united. That was a way to solve the problem. If we discover there's a lot of ethnocracy, there's a lot of tribalism in Cameroon, I think that the idea of the unity stuff we are trying to preach cannot solve the crisis in our country. Let us devise another system of government rather than preaching what is not working. We are trying to use a method of operation in this country that doesn't work. And I'm very convinced that most countries in the world, Canada equally had a challenge with the French and the English there. They realized that if they were to operate under unity, it wouldn't work. They had to devise a special status system of government whereby it has brought people under one banner, but everybody has a certain level of autonomy. I think this so-called referendum in 1972, since it came, it has worsened situations because the crisis of division and separation was not as strong during the federal system of government as it is now today. Now you have people in the north trying to break out. You have southwest, northwest trying to, even within the northwest and southwest there is a divide. It's to tell that even if we solve the Anglophone crisis, the northern and the southwest still have a problem. Why don't we bring a system of government that will give a level of authority under the ethnicity system, like what Julius Marimo Kamarake Nyerere did? He brought 27 different tribes. That's why Tanzania is the United Republic of Tanzania, with every region having a certain level of autonomy. Zanzibar is almost like a nation because it has special status under Tanzania. Zanzibar is like a nation. Now the issue is that is the system they have used and it's working for them. You don't hear separation, you don't hear division. Senegambia attempted to come together, it couldn't go, they break their way. Now Togoland is demanding for secession from Ghana. They have to devise a means to give them a certain level of authority. These crises are common all over the world. The earlier we accept that the thing we are using in Cameroon does not work, the better. And now we are bringing division all over the place. There's a Tontina, there's a Nordinas, there's a Northwest and the Southwest. We are all Cameroonians. We are all Cameroonians. The truth is, let us get to work and put in context what works in this country. Since 1970 unification, we have not had peace. But I tell you that if we compare and contrast 1961 federation and 1972 reunification, you will discover that we have instead gone down the drain as compared to what we did in the federal system. So let us come back. We have not refused. We are all Cameroonians. Nobody is preaching separation. Nobody is preaching secession. But let us bring a system of government that can work and make us live in peace.
Okay, we have just been joined by Njine Elvis, representing the Popular Action Party, PAP. Njine, I would want you to start by assessing the unity that we have lived so far since 1972.
Thank you, Mr. Kum Leonard. Thank you. Good evening to all panelists here. I really wish to apologize to your viewers and to yourself for the lateness. And talking about the unity in this country, I really don't want to think that if we want to go to, as you say, assessing the unity, I would rather say that we are living a semblance of unity in this country. The unity is really not there. At one point in time, if people don't talk about it, it is simply because around to an extent, either the fear to talk with respect to the regime that we have in place, or at least there is something that keeps them away from talking. But when you talk with Cameroonians one-on-one at the background, at least you will understand that to some greater extent Cameroonians don't really much feel like they were at home in this country. Why do I say so? You know, when we talk about unity in a country like ours, unity is not just in the word unity, but unity is in the spirit. Unity is like patriotism, something that people feel from within them, and then they express it, they manifest it. But when you come to the context of Cameroon today, you rather understand that the unity we live is like people are being forced into it. It is like there is the regime in place is using a whip to condition people to accept that they must live in that state of unity, whereas it is not supposed to be that way. Unity is supposed to go with love. But those are things that we really don't have or find in this country, because just like the last speaker just said, when you see the way they tag people from different regions, they make sure that when you come out from a particular area and you want to say something, they tag you a name and all whatnot. It tells you that people don't share that love. That love is not there. And when I talk about the love not being there, the common man per se may not really have that much of a problem living together with whosoever in the country. But the real problem we face in this country is the one that is being put in place by the regime in place, the system that we have, beginning from the days of Ayijo till Mr. Biya-Paul today. So I want to think, Mr. Kum Leonard, that Cameroon could live a better situation if perhaps we went back to the 2 stars that we had on our flag during the era of the federal system, because from 1972, honestly speaking, there has never been progress in this country as far as unity is concerned.
Okay, Nkai Abadayan, good evening to you and to you, Ish Kobe. Good evening to you, Tino Bujeto Cavani, and now to you. We see that President Amadou Ahidjo had a vision of unifying the nation. We saw him dismantle political parties in 1966 with the creation of the One Party. But today we have more than 317 parties entering Atemi Bako, yet the unity is not there. How do we understand? Is it to suggest that Cameroon is going to be better unified under a single party like President Amadou Ahidjo did?
Mr. Leo, you know, this particular topic should not have been limited only to the level of Cameroonians understanding that we have a third party that has to do with our unification, or when the federal system was abolished. And that is why I still go back to say that the only thing that Cameroonians can testify that they are one is in currency, and that currency is not even their currency. Apart from that, there's no other thing that binds Cameroonians together. So unity should have been defined on what instrument was used in bringing the people together. And that is why you realize that if we look at the aspect of blood or love, knowing that we are people from the common origin and we are coming to live together, that would have been different. But it is looked like we 2 different nations that were under the trusteeship of 2 different colonial masters are now coming together to live together. So already from the start poses a problem. So you are trying to solve a small problem by creating a bigger problem, and that's why you realize where we are today in Cameroon. So it's not solving any problem, and that is why I suggested that this should not have been a day for us to celebrate, because it comes with a lot of memories that makes us to understand that if we knew in the first place there should not have even been any federation, people would have stayed probably apart and then lived their lives at one point. So you come to realize that in a system like this, where there is a third party, as I keep saying, that Cameroon has sovereignty when it comes to Nigeria, Chad, Central Africa, Nigeria, Ethiopia, but Cameroon does not have sovereignty when it comes to France and many of the Western power. It does not have sovereignty. So these are the common issues, Mr. Leo.
Are you saying that it's France that is machinating the divide between the South?
I don't want to go to that area, but
yeah, but can we stay within the ambit of my question?
Very
I'm
well.
talking about he said that Cameroon was better united under the federal system, but we know that in 1966 the President of the Republic also dismantled the political parties that because yes, to one
Mr.
party.
Liu,
Yeah.
we are talking
From 1966 to the 72 that we are saying, there was just one political party. Today we have more than 300 years.
But we are talking of two different individuals. We are talking of Amadou Ahidjo and President Paul Biya. Those are two different individuals managing the same thing. Mr. Ahidjo at that period brought in the unification. Mr. Biya took it over. So these are two different individuals trying to manage a thing which another person instituted, and then another person is running with the vision of another person which was not his vision. Let us not be able to mix these two things. So we should understand that the vision probably for Ahidjo, had it been he continued where he was or where he instituted that how will I call it, national unity, it would have been different from what we are talking today. But now it's in the hands of another person who sees it differently. So we cannot how will I put it, we cannot say that the national unity was meant to bring unity to the country, because that is not the reality on ground. It is true that he abolished those opposition parties at that period to form a one-party system, which would have been good for all the for the entire nation, because when you a leader, you have the heart for your people and you do things which only brings your people together and not divide the people together. So you come to realize that, Mr. Liu, whatever is going to keep Cameroonians apart should be set apart. This day is what has kept Cameroonians apart, and it should be set apart because it has not served the purpose in which President Amadou Ahidjo instituted this day. So probably it has been wrongly handled along the line, but it is very clear and simple, Mr. Liu, because we cannot still going back and talking about English Cameroon, French Cameroon. I think that we have come of age to understand that we are all Cameroonians. What do we do from where we stand? How do we go from where we are? Those are the most important things that we should now be using this day as a reference to address how Cameroon should look tomorrow. So that is why I am saying that if we still have a national unity day being celebrated in Cameroon when there is no tangible evidence or instruments that brings Cameroonians together, I think the day is of no use.
Okay, greetings to you, Mr. Liu, and co-figure in Birmingham. I'm enjoying your program, Mr. Liu. How can we talk of unity which is not there? I totally agree with Mr. Elvis. We are forced to accept unity because we are not free in this country. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the critical minds in the studio. We are very grateful watching this particular crew today. More wisdom to you all. Be blessed. I'm Ambe Emmanuel Asanji, writing from Bawoum in Bafoot. Williams, bros, the currency does not unify the two Cameroons because it is solely in French language and is total insult to the Anglophones. Comer is writing from Boya. Good evening to you, Comer. Greetings from this end of the country, fellow panelists. I am in support with Apostle Ngwa Valentine's idea, and let us try the 10-state federation and see if peace will be maintained. Mbong Ivo is writing from Tombel. La plupart des régions veulent plus d'autonomie. Docteur Simo, est-ce que le problème ne vient pas aussi de l'hypercentralisation du pouvoir?
Permettez, Mr. Koum, il y a un élément important qu'il faut mettre en avant lorsqu'on parle de l'unité nationale.
Okay.
Il y a le contexte. À chaque fois qu'on parle de l'unité nationale, arrêtons-nous un seul instant et regardons le contexte. Dans quelle situation, alors dans quelle période on se retrouve aujourd'hui? On ne peut pas dire, et je continue à le souligner, qu'il n'y a pas d'éléments qui nous rassemblent. On a nos emblèmes nationaux, on a notre drapeau qui est propre à nous. On a notre hymne national qui est propre à nous. C'est pas pour quelqu'un. L'hymne national du Cameroun n'est pas pour anglophone, encore moins pour francophone. C'est pour nous. Là, on se retrouve. Et qu'à chaque fois, je dis toujours, qu'on prenne les diversités que nous avons. La langue, la culture, les repas, c'est-à-dire l'art culinaire, comme des richesses, comme des forces. Parce que ce sont ces éléments qui déterminent ou alors qui ont fait ce qu'on dise aujourd'hui que le Cameroun est l'Afrique en miniature. C'est très important parce qu'on a ces éléments-là. Mais ça ne voudrait pas dire qu'on a 300 ou 500 partis politiques, qu'on est divisé. Non. c'est une autre expression peut-être de la démocratie, que chacun peut faire ce qu'il veut, sans nuit, du moment où il respecte un ensemble de règles. Je ne voudrais pas également que l'on mette en avant, n'est-ce pas, les fléaux sociaux pour justifier l'absence d'unité nationale. Je dis non. Parce que si on commence à dire, il y a le tribalisme, il y a la corruption, il y a le népotisme, il y a ci, il y a ça, permettez-moi de vous dire que dans tous les pays du monde, on a des fléaux sociaux. Ça ne voudrait pas dire qu'ils ne sont pas unifiés, qu'ils ne vivent pas ensemble. Mais moi, ce que je voudrais souligner ici, c'est le caractère patriotique. Permettez que je termine avec ça.
Est-ce que tout le fait que les fléaux sociaux sont they are very consistent. Est-ce que ça n'accentue pas
automatiquement ça va fragiliser le système gouvernemental? I understand what you are saying. Ça va fragiliser le système gouvernemental. Et d'accord, et en ce moment, je serais d'accord que l'on développe des stratégies pour réduire non seulement ces fléaux-là, c'est-à-dire des fléaux comme le tribalisme, comme le favoritisme, le népotisme, surtout le favoritisme qui, n'est-ce pas, met en mal les efforts fournis par les uns et les autres. Oui, d'accord, mais qu'on ne prenne pas ça aujourd'hui pour déterminer, ou alors pour prendre un élément important de dire il n'y a pas le vivre ensemble au Cameroun, là ça fait problème. Moi je dis, lorsqu'on parle de l'unité nationale de 20 mai, ça devrait être un moment pour tous les Camerounais de marquer, n'est-ce pas, d'un trait leur degré de patriotisme pour le Cameroun. Et très rapidement on se retrouvera en train, n'est-ce pas, d'être ensemble pour s'unifier pour la même chose.
Il faut qu'on ferme les yeux au
Non, qu'on ne ferme pas les yeux. Il y a beaucoup d'éléments qui nous relient. Il y a beaucoup d'éléments qui nous attachent. Il y a beaucoup d'éléments qui, comme notre histoire.
Okay.
Lorsqu'on parle de l'histoire du Cameroun, c'est pas l'histoire des francophones, encore moins l'histoire des anglophones. Okay. C'est l'histoire du Cameroun. Et on devrait s'identifier par rapport à cette histoire.
Dr. Simo did not answer my question. I will answer to you.
I think that...
no, you're answering to what other persons have said.
Okay.
My question has to do with greater autonomy for the regions. Almost everybody wants to identify the Northerners, saying that they want their power. Adamawa, in the south, center south, they are talking of something Ekang. Yes, is it because of the over-centralization of power in Yaoundé?
Before I answer that question, I would like to underline two things.
Okay.
He said something very important, and I think that is going to answer your question. And he said also something very important that I would like to underline too. He said, even if today those who are fighting for secession achieve their goal, that is having their own country, still there will be in between the Southwest and the Northwest. And there you will understand something. Because they don't, apart from the language, which is English, what do they have in common in terms of culture and space? What do they have in common together? Nothing. Because those from the Northwest, they share the same culture with those from the West. And those from the Southwest, they share the same culture with those from the littoral. You see. And he said something too. He said, the unity was conceived, the national unity was conceived by Amadou Ahidjo, and Mr. Biya today is trying to manage the national unity, but it was conceived by Amadou Ahidjo, and then that poses another problem. Is it the system of the government that has failed, or the management, the people who are actually managing that system who have failed? That is the question that we should answer. Because unity, because even federalism, or call it confederation, federalism, whatsoever you want, is it going to solve our problem? Knowing that we have another problem with this tribalism. If today we say, okay, each region should live, independently from the other, is it going to solve the problem? If me, for instance, in the West, I would say, I don't want to see people from the South here. Or if people in the South say, okay, today, as from now henceforth, I don't want to see people from the West, from the North, or if people from the North will say, no, as from today henceforth, we're not going to receive those from the South, those from the West, those from the East. Is that going to solve the problem? Because we get to understand where we are going, and that's why I said it poses another problem. Is it the problem of management of the system of government, or is it the system of government that has failed? We have to be able to answer that question. Okay. And I think here there's a problem of management, because problems start at home where some children feel starved, ostracized, and segregated. That's where problems start. Because if every child is well fed, I think there will be no problem. But when some children start, feeling that, well, we're not well fed and we're ostracized, then they will start asking, who is my real father here? Who am I in this house? And I think we have to be able to bring up, solutions that will actually kill all these, things that we have now, like tribalism, like nepotism, like favoritism, all these things that are actually killing the national unity. Because I'm saying it because if people were feeling treated the same, on the same standard, be you from the north, be you from the south, be you from the west, be you from wheresoever in the country, if people were treated on the same standard with the same rules, I think there will be less problem. The national unity will not be so eroded as it is today. National unity is eroded because some people are feeling ostracized, segregated, not benefiting from the wealth, from the wealth of the country, from the national cake. And that is why I will agree with those who say living together has never been a problem. Eating together is the problem of the country, because some people feel starved at home when some are overfeeded, and that's where problem is.
They have very huge bank accounts.
Some people have 24 bank account, 54 bank account. They have 53 homes.
Some have banks in their homes.
Some have bank in their homes. Some have saved in their homes with billion in, where some people cannot even feed themselves once a day with 500 francs CFA. That's where problem is. And that's why I said problems here is a lot of frustration, because when people see a situation like the situation in the northwest, in southwest, it's not a sudden problem. It's the sum of frustration, a lot of frustration that has been accumulated for years, and that's where we have problem like southwest and northwest.
Okay, greetings, Mr. Liu. Wisanyu Kamilif Bertrand, writing from Kumbu. How can we talk of unity when houses are being burnt in some parts of the country with no mercy? Indirect recruitment of freedom fighters is going on. Good evening to you, days out there in Bui Division. Good evening, Mr. Liu and great minds. Today we celebrate a day of annihilation, a day when while territory got swallowed up. You cannot celebrate unity in total disunity. Unity has never been gotten by a presidential decree. It is worked for concerning what has not been fixed. I believe everything has to be fixed, excluding nothing. Okay, good evening to you, Sanderic, watching from Bonaberry. Good evening, lawyer panelists. Some divisions in the southwest have common values with the people in Nigeria and northwest, so the panelists can mislead. Mr. Kum, are civilian militants made from the image of their leader? The Maker is writing from Boya. Good evening to you, The Maker. It's been long. I hope we're going to be. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Following this direction of assimilation, assuming it's a mistake, why are others jailed when they try to correct the mistake? Hans is writing from Douala. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I think a referendum should be conducted again only to the people of Southern Cameroon. Writing from Abu Dhabi. Rudy there. Good evening, Mr. Liu. It's a pity that for years the youth of this nation have been received from their history. Where we found ourselves today is the seeds of what they planted. We can't manage the system anymore. Okay. Yeah. This one says, anything built on falsehood can never last. However people analyze the union. Okay. Frank is writing from Limbe. Apostle Ambe Valentine Ngwa, he raised the issue. He said that the problem in Cameroon is not living together, because according to him, Cameroonians are living together. The issue has to do with eating together. Is it also an issue of regional representation at the level of the state apparatus, where some people think that they are left in the dark? When you look at the representation,
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
If it is geopolitics, then President Pobia is a mathematician in that.
Okay.
President Pobia is a technocrat when it comes to geopolitics. As a matter of fact, he's operating exactly the system that France operates. Picking a few persons in a country, feeding them fat at the expense of the masses. That's what France does.
Yeah,
so he picks a few allies in the region. I'm learning, Mr. Liu. He picks a few allies in the region, feed them very well at the expense of the entire population. What makes Southwesterners get satisfied that a man is appointed prime minister, that their man has been appointed where he cannot give them a road. He can't give them water. He can't give them electricity, but they are excited. They carry all pageantry and dances to go and celebrate that somebody from our own area has been appointed prime minister. We are dancing because someone was elevated at the expense of everybody. And those people stay in power for 4 or 5 years. They can't tar road to their places. They can't bring light to their places. They cannot even give scholarship to their children. And the individuals from their own community cannot get employed. That is what called the technocrat of Pobia's geopolitics.
Yeah, but is this not also developing cracks? Because there is a clear divide today between these persons you are talking with the community.
That's what I'm letting you understand, that if you're talking about representation at the national level, President Pobia is a technocrat. There are people from all the 10 regions in the national level. That is to say, picking a few persons who are elite, feeding them fat, who cannot even meet the needs of their people. That's dangerous. And that's the same thing France does to Africa. It picks a few persons in the country, get them well loaded, and then the people are suffering. So when you talk about representation, is a problem. My problem is, if wealth is evenly distributed, the president should not use individuals as ladders for others to climb. Why should I pass a NAM because an elite from my place is a senator? I should pass a NAM based on meritocracy. I should not pass a NAM because I'm connected to the prime minister. That is, anybody who is not connected to the person who has been selected in our region remains a slave in their own area. Which means if the prime minister has the opportunity to bring only 15 persons, the rest 10,000 children in that community who graduate university will never have a NAM. So that is the danger we are talking about here. And you can look at it. Southwesterners are represented there, Nordists are represented there, Garwa, Marwangandere, everybody east, south, they are represented. They have a portion of the national cake. But how can these individuals, or 2-3 persons from this region, satisfy the 20,000 persons that come from that region? That is the problem. So if we are talking about integrating the people and bringing national unity, I think a certain level of autonomy should be given to those communities so that the people can manage their affairs by themselves. It shouldn't be that if you want to become a minister in Cameroon, you must go to ENAM. I think if we have 10 ENAMs in the 10 regions in the country and we need 100 people from the ENAM, each region give 10 people, I'm sure there will be equality. It shouldn't be as if there's ENAM in Yaoundé and then we want people to come in and 30 people, we have 25 from south.
Let me cue you better. Now we are talking about representation at the national level.
Yes.
If we have 60-something ministers, if you get out of these 60, if you have 30 from 2 regions, and you have maybe 1 or 2 from the Northwest region, 1 from the Adamawa region, do you think that the people from the Adamawa region and other regions feel satisfied that a region like the Central region has 10 or more ministers, South are the same, when others have just one ministers?
You see, you don't understand the manipulation of politics in this country.
Okay.
If you understand it perfectly well, the problem is we just want to hear that a man from us has been given the position of a minister. Even if 100 persons are going to die because that man came from our place, let that man come from our environment. And the president knows that vulnerability from all these different regions. So he manipulates and plays with the game very well. He will pick somebody from Mayo Danai and put into the ministerial position that satisfy everybody from Mayo Sava, Mayo Kani, Mayo Re, Mayo Danai, Mayo Banyu. Everybody is satisfied because Dr. Simo came to a chant in the parle. That is the problem. Now, because the 10 regions have representatives, that individual is unable to meet the needs of those people. I think if you want to actually do a certain degree of national integration and unity, we should give autonomy, power to some regions. Look like in Somalia, Puntland is a place that has been given special status. Trinidad and Tobago has been given special status. Let that special status give the people the opportunity to exercise their own basic rights.
Okay.
That's it.
Just a minute. Vraiment, une seconde.
Ok,
Non, je ne peux pas laisser quand même passer un homme aussi intelligent, parce que je le connais très intelligent. Vouloir qu'on se partage le Cameroun comme un gâteau. Vous me ramenez à l'époque du partage de l'Afrique, où l'Occident ou alors l'Europe est venue déposer le continent africain et découper en morceaux. Ce n'est pas de ça qu'il est question. Si à chaque fois on veut regarder la position ou alors l'équilibre social du Cameroun en fonction de ses avoirs et de ses besoins, je vous assure, on a perdu la notion qu'il nous reste. Non, je suis pas en train de ce qu'il a dit, mais je veux rectifier quelque chose. Je dis, non, vous aviez dit, quand vous aviez dit par exemple, Misako, je vous ai entendu dire 10 personnes, une région, 2 personnes si, et je voudrais que rectifier un élément très important. On ne peut pas partager le Cameroun comme un gâteau. C'est pas de ça qu'il est question. Mais il faudrait simplement que tout le monde se retrouve dans l'investissement qui est posé. C'est de ça qu'il est question, je vous en prie.
Non, je vous pose la question.
Oui.
Votre prise de parole maintenant.
Je vous en remercie.
Oui. Qu'est-ce qui peut expliquer qu'une région a 10 ministres, 2 régions ont 25 ministres et une autre région à 1 ou 2 ministres? Est-ce que c'est le fait que les autres régions sont plus intelligentes et ça dit pendant plus de 20 ans?
Merci pour la question. Je crois que je l'ai répondu.
Allez-y.
Je dis, la préoccupation d'un Camerounais patriote ne se résumerait pas à la position stratégique de ses pairs. Quand je dis ses pairs, je vais dire les personnes de sa région. Mais résiderait dans le travail que font ces individus. Moi, c'est ma préoccupation. Mettez tout ce que vous vouliez à la place qui vous intéresse, mais du moment où le travail est effectué pour le bien de la nation, je vous assure, moi, j'ai pas de soucis, j'ai pas de problématiques, j'ai pas d'inquiétude. Et je crois que tout Camerounais patriotique devrait se comporter de cette manière. Parce qu'à chaque fois qu'on va dire, non, depuis que lui il est là, mon frère aussi, est-ce qu'il est là? On va se poser la question, est-ce que ton frère a les capacités d'y être?
Docteur Simon, est-ce que ce n'est pas ça le problème, où on parle d'unité nationale, intégration nationale, mais au fond, ce que je suis en train de demander, on ne pose pas de questions. Est-ce qu'il n'y a pas de gens intelligents comme...
Je vous écoute,
oui.
mais c'est comme je vous écoute depuis.
Vous croyez qu'il faut négliger ça?
Non, je vous écoute depuis, mais là, c'est un point de vue personnel. Je dis parce qu'on a l'amour pour un pays, on ne devrait pas se focaliser sur la position de X, mais on devrait plutôt se focaliser sur le travail que X a fait. Et si on dit, si le travail n'est pas fait, je suis de commun accord qu'un changement se produit.
Même si le X qu'on doit négliger détourne...
Justement, là, vous me rejoignez donc. Si le travail n'est pas fait, on le met de côté. Get out.
Ok. Yes.
Il faut le souligner. Il y a... La construction d'une nation se construit autour des valeurs qu'on a en partage, que l'ensemble des fils, indépendamment de leur appartenance régionale, tribale et ethnique, ont en valeur. Et le cardinal de ces valeurs, c'est l'excellence et le mérite. C'est-à-dire que dans une société, on devrait prendre l'ascenseur social par le fruit de son excellence et de son mérite. On ne devrait pas être coopté dans l'ascenseur social parce que on est fils d'eux, parce qu'on est lié de manière, on a une proximité sociologique ou parentale avec, n'est-ce pas, un haut cadre de l'administration. Je crois que ce sont des contre-valeurs qui ont contribué à effriter graduellement, mais alors considérablement, l'unité sociale. Et c'est pour ça que je disais que on ne peut pas construire l'unité nationale avec des contre-valeurs comme le favoritisme, l'ethnicisme, le tribalisme et tout cela. Que vous ayez, n'est-ce pas, un système de gouvernance basé sur la fédération, la confédération, n'est-ce pas, la centralisation, si, n'est-ce pas, les valeurs en partage ou alors les contre-valeurs sont ce que je viens de citer, le népotisme, ça ne marchera pas. Et j'ajoute de l'eau à ce que vous avez dit. Quand vous prenez par exemple une région qui a une prédominance, qui a une prégnance, n'est-ce pas, dans les positions stratégiques, dans la technostructure gouvernementale, si vous vous rendez même compte qu'ils ont l'ensemble ou alors qu'ils ont la moitié de ces positions stratégiques, mais maintenant quand vous allez même dans leur région d'origine, vous vous rendez compte que le quotidien du commun des mortels est si ce n'est pire, je vais dire est égal, si ce n'est pire que, n'est-ce pas, celui de tous les autres ressortissants. Ça veut dire que leur position ne profite directement qu'à eux-mêmes. Leur position stratégique au sein de la technostructure gouvernementale ne profite qu'à eux-mêmes et peut-être à quelques, je vais dire quelques proches de leur famille.
C'est un problème d'incompétence. Moi, je voudrais qu'on insiste
Et ça pose un problème. Ça pose un problème d'incompétence et c'est pour ça que j'ai dit tout à l'heure qu'il a posé un problème. Le problème est-il celui du système de gouvernance ou alors celui de la gestion des hommes qui gèrent ces systèmes de gouvernance? Et ça nous ramène à la question de savoir si M. Ahidjo, qui a conçu son unité nationale depuis 1960, s'il était encore là aujourd'hui, s'il avait continué avec la gouvernance jusqu'aujourd'hui, est-ce que ce problème se poserait-il? C'est une question que nous ne pouvons pas répondre parce qu'il n'est pas là.
Elvis Njini, I was talking about representation at the national level. I don't know. Yeah. Dr. Simo has given her explanations, which is also her right here to her opinions. But now let us look at. Yes, please. No, I'm coming. Elvis, please, Elvis, I'm coming to you. No, you are very correct, Dr. Simo, please. Now, Njini Elvis, we are talking about a nation, national unity, national integration. When you look at the distribution of the public investment budgets for the past 5 years, we see that some regions are highly favored. For example, a region like the South region has far greater amount allocated to it than an economic powerhouse like that of the littoral. You may want to combine the public investment budgets of the Northwest and Southwest regions to compare it with that of a division in the South region. Is that not also creating that frustrations in the people?
Mr. Kum, thank you. I've been listening to the panelists talk, and I think there are a number of things I would like to say.
Before answering my question?
Before I get to your question, please. Because already when we talk about Mr. Ahidjo, and I hear panelists say that he conceived his national unity, let us be honest to ourselves. We will never make way forth in this country if we want to stay in the path of falsehood. Ahidjo did not just conceive his national unity, he caused the problem we are facing in this country. Because by doing whatsoever thing he did, he went totally against the federal constitution, what was agreed in Fumban. He had no right to do what he did. He caused the problem, and that was the time when the southern Cameroonians got, I would say, swallowed up in this country. And that is part of what we are discussing here today. So we should not say he conceived as though he did it out of good faith, as though he had a genuine plan for Cameroonians as a whole. No, he caused the problem. Now, coming back to your question, when you talk about the public investment budget, of course it's but normal that there should be frustration in the country, because like we say, if people were to be autonomous, if the regions were to be autonomous, and I'll prove by that to tell my brother who just said something here which I took note of, that to be autonomous, let's say if the regions were to be autonomous, it doesn't mean that I, who is from the Northwest region, I would tell people from the South I don't want them. No, I think the autonomy in this context actually means that resources from my region should first of all benefit the people from that region first. Not that we prohibit people from other regions from coming into that region. And now when we talk about the public investment budget, we do not understand what criteria actually that the government uses, the regime in place it uses to be able to partition the budget the way they do. Because like you rightly put it, when you look at the budget that goes to the South particularly, at times it is more than what 3-4 other regions have combined. So the question is, what does the government in place, what does the regime in place base its mind on to be able to give a particular region a certain amount of budget for a year, and then take that same amount of budget and divide it to over 4 other regions at a time? And when I hear my sister Dr. Simo here say that we are not supposed to be concerned about the fact that people all come from a particular system or region to head, but that we should be more focused on what they do. Now the question I will ask is, for the past 20 years, for the past 30 years, what have they been doing? When we know that in this government, in this regime, we went to primary school, some of us seated here today, and we had the same ministers who are still ministers today, and all what we can keep as a legacy, as memory of them, is their embezzlement and every other thing. There is nothing they have done in this country. I want to say nothing. Because when we look at the budget that we have in this country, when we have to look at the resources that we have in this country, and you imagine that the same people have been there for 30 years and they have not been able to do anything for this country, it is but normal that people should be frustrated. Mr. Liu, I will skip out of the budget to tell you that when we talk about the public investment budget, maybe the question should go back to the government in place. Let them tell us what criteria they use to be able to pattern the budget such that one region owns the budget that 4 or 5 other regions do share. That's what we don't. And the irony is that when you even go down that same south we are talking about, they don't even still have the roads. They still lack the water. They still lack electricity. So when they even give them the budget, where does it go to? All this is an ensemble of things that have pushed Cameroonians. We are not sitting here, we do not say, and we are not insisting that the unity or that the cracks we have in our unity is only at the level of the British Southern Cameroons and the La République Cameroon coming together. It is general. There are problems everywhere, but we are saying that, or I am saying here, that the main cause of the troubles we have in this country stem from what Mr. Ahijo initiated, which Mr. Bia is only reinforcing. And I said something here when I just got onto this platform, that at one point in time we are living a semblance of unity because there are so many things that go wrong, but people are like conditioned or forced to accept that there is unity. Because even when we sit here and we are talking, there are things that we shall say here that the government will not want to hear, but because they are my political views, it will not be a surprise to anybody that I will get out of this and maybe something happens to me, because that is the way the system wants us to function. We should not say the things that are supposed to be said, but simply announce what they say. And I said something which I will still repeat. Unity is not just in the word unity. It is more of a spirit than anything. Unity to me is patriotism. And once you are a patriot, it goes with the spirit. Once you are a patriot, you will do anything, you can go whatever length to do whatever you can do for your country. We are talking about unity today, Mr. Lee. We are even discussing things now here that we should not even have been discussing, because everything stems back from the history.
Okay.
And unless we correct that history of ours, we shall spend 100 more years to discuss these things, but we will not change anything, because even the coming together first of all already was all based on what? On falsehood. Okay. So there are so many things that need to be corrected in this country for us to be able to sit and discuss genuinely and get the right things to be done. Okay,
Matiren Atem, good evening to you. Ndukong, good evening to you. Wesley Tiku, and to you, Godi Nyukongi, who is always watching. Good evening to you. Ansem Adunime, Ish Kobi, good evening to you. Ishnat Mihabi. And to you, Jack Shilgo, good evening to you. Bowie Francis Neba Nelson, good evening to you. Maximilian Mark Tampe Grand Mike, good evening to you. Neba Nelson Ni Abakwa, good evening to all of you guys watching the program. I enjoy the debate that is also ongoing on social media. Yes, some are very insultive, but we should take them. We should accept them. We should accept every opinion. You have a right to what you think about. But now, Andrew Atemebako, when you look at representation, local representations at the level of the National Assembly, it is considered that an MP is an MP for the nation. That is, if you are at the glass house, you should see yourself as an MP for the nation, which by implication would mean that if something is happening in the far north, since you are an MP for the nation, you should identify yourself with it. If you are from any part of the country, have you seen MPs lead by example, playing that national figure role of aptly representing the nation?
Mr. Liu, it's quite painful when Cameroonians sit together and try to sort out their differences and try to overcome the challenges which they are going through in their nation, and they do not still seem to understand exactly what to do. You see, after hearing from several other panelists, it seems as if we still do not understand some parables when they have been said. You remember I said that the only thing that I would say all Cameroonians are using that binds them together is a currency. That should have already explained a lot of things for us to understand. When we keep going and putting blames on people, looking at history and then blame this person, we are not going anywhere. Because like I have been saying, as long as it is a counterfeit system, everything or whatever we say does not make any difference. We say very brilliant and educative things that are supposed to have been happening. You don't need to tell somebody, for example, on what he or she is supposed to do when the person is responsible. By default, you should already know what is good for your family, what is good for your community, what is good for your nation. You don't need to be told. You don't need panelists to come on TV and begin to cry out what the government should be doing and what the government should not be doing. It is just to tell you that, Mr. Liu, that there is a system in place. I said this long ago, that the French taught the French government of this country how to colonize the English so-called brothers who were not even supposed to come together because they were already together by default to colonize their own people. So you come to realize here that, Mr. Liu, whether we do what, we say all these things, 10, how will I call it, a region should have their autonomy, 10 state federation, you don't need to advise somebody on something the person knows that this is the right thing to do. So if you don't see the person doing the thing the person is supposed to do, you should understand there's a problem somewhere.
That their hands are tied.
And this is a problem I want to say that Cameroonians should by now grow of age to understand that either we all die or we help the government. There's just no way about it, because you cannot see some people up there who look very beautiful, well dressed, and they are doing things that only mad people do. It tells you that there is a problem, and if you don't see it that way, then it means that you are really a lost citizen. Because for me, Mr. Liu, in all my analysis I've made, we need to get to that point where we stand behind our government, because there are times where I have seen in many occasions they want to make a good decision for their people, but it becomes something that is at the expense of their own population. You want to do what is right, and you find yourself into doing what is against your own people, and at the same time you get stuck. This is exactly what I'm saying, that, Mr. Liu, you realize that a tribe, when you look at, for example, the 12 tribes of Israel, they were a nation, but they are 12 tribes, and each of those tribes function as an independent people, even though they were from the same house. And when we talk about 10 state federation, that is the way it looks like. So there is nothing wrong if we have 10 states federation. For sure it's going to solve the problem, but that problem can never be solved, because in the beginning it was not meant to be solved. And the English and the French so-called Cameroon coming together was a carefully designed plan way back before their independence, and this is what a lot of Cameroonians do not understand. So when you continue to blame this person here, I told you the only thing that all Cameroonians can boast to show that is what binds us together is a currency. All Cameroonians use CFA. This is already an indicator to tell you that, pardon?
It doesn't mean that it's binding. Some people are conditioned.
No. There's nobody who conditions to use it. Everybody in this country uses CFA for his basic use or whatever he does. That is a simple truth. Let us not argue about that. But Mr. Liu, just what I want to say here is that this is my only cry. It is true that our governments have not been the best for us. It is true that our leaders have not been making the decisions that uplift and uphold the spirit of our nation. Now, what do we do from here? Do we fight? Do we continue to kill ourselves when we understand that there is intruder in our midst and someone who is causing building systems that our leaders are conditioned? If some of you know the kind of conditions that our leaders are placed in, if you were put in that same condition, you do the same thing. And that is the basic truth. That is why you are realizing in Africa, few presidents who turn against to do what is good for their people. It did not take long. 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they were eliminated. What am I simply trying to say? That simply means that if we want to deal with Cameroon as an individual case, we will not succeed. We need to deal with Cameroon as Africa, and we see how we can build some kind of front and unity in order for us to be able to get out of such situations.
You are bringing the Pan-African...
No, I'm just saying that's the basic truth at the end of the day.
Okay, wow, Mr. Liu, good evening. I enjoy your program. Terence is writing from Van in Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Liu. There is nothing like unity in this country. Mr. Patrick is writing from Bamenda. let us set aside ministers' appointments. Should we raise medical doctors and administrators in our nation in ratio of 2 Anglophones to 8 Francophones? Anglophones not qualified to be QS and polytechnics. Most of the students who do science in Anglophone schools always become frustrated, especially those who want to become medical doctors. Beatrice is writing from Limbe. Good evening to you, Beatrice. Mr. Leo, good evening. We should not call them embezzlers. We should call them thieves, so that they will be ashamed. Okay. Yes, you're writing from out there. Good evening to you is Mr. George, writing from Gabon. I enjoy the program. Thank you. Good evening to you all there and all those who are following the program. I'm Ramsey. Good evening to you, Ramsey. Good evening to you all in the studio. I have not been able to participate in your programs because of poor MTN internet, and now I can't read my message because of a new. Is this the national unity we are celebrating today? You see, Mr. Leo, this is how we judge whether a day like this is worth celebrating or not. As a lay person, we don't understand the languages of national symbols when it doesn't create jobs, opportunities for businesses to flourish, good health care system, no security for its citizens. Tina is writing from Bamenda. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Until truth is told, in this nation, we will never have national unity. Only the truth shall set us free. Michael is writing from Limbe. Good evening to you in the studio. Our territorial boundaries make us a nation, but the national unity we are talking about is forcefully imposed. Terence is writing from Mutengene. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I think that should be fixed in manner is which Anglophones are treated in the sense of employment. I'm Zanga, writing from Limbe. Greetings to all in the studio. I'm called Gayos from Limbe. The step when we want to appreciate what happened in 1972. How did we abolish the Federation, which was what united us? Okay. Apostle Lambe Valentine Gua. Seemingly people don't want to answer my questions. I asked a question to Dr. Simo. She said her own. I've asked a question to Andre. He did not talk about the MPs. We all know that MPs are supposed to, they are MPs for the nation. Have you seen MPs from the South region actually show concern for issues that are touching on the lives of the people of the Southwest? Have you seen people from the MPs from the North region show so much interest on issues that are touching on the lives of the people in the West region? And if this is not the case, how do we explain the fact that an MP is an MP for the nation?
Well, the truth is we have to first of all define the responsibility of an MP before trying to engage them into our personal problems. An MP, first and foremost, is somebody who is an MP to the nation. That is to say, you are not limited to your constituency. If you are an MP at Lom Injirim, or you are an MP at Mayo Sava, you are an MP to Cameroon first before an MP to Mayo Sava or Lom Injirim division. Now, your responsibility is to make sure as an MP to communicate the legislative principles that bind the 10 regions together, and also your responsibility is to see what is not good in the country and bring it in the National Assembly and point it out. It will be funny enough to realize that even the MPs that come from the battered Northwest and Southwest region, their mouths have been sealed to speak inside the glass house. Talk less of somebody from Mayo Sava or Lom Injirim or from Jai Lobo to stand and speak. It is like any man for himself, God for we all. The MP, the subject of the MP has been, constituent. Let me put it that way.
Nice,
yes, in a way that if it does not concern your particular constituency you are not interested. But the funniest thing is most of these guys talk of unity, and they even speak of the fact that whatever is in Southwest belongs to those of the other regions. Why is it that the petrol that comes from Southwest and Northwest belongs to all the other regions, and those who die from Southwest belong to Southwest? Why should the coffins and the corpses from Northwest and Southwest belong to Northwest and Southwest? Why diamond and gold and petrol that comes from Northwest and Southwest belong to the whole nation? So we can be able to enjoy the goodies from Northwest and Southwest as a nation, but when it comes to our personal crises and challenges, it belongs to Northwest and Southwest. So the MPs, first and foremost, who go to the glass house and they are first of all silent, not to even mention the fact that there's a crisis in the Northwest and the Southwest, alone tells you that the nation is divided. That unity is just a farce. Secondly, if at all we claim that we are all people from the same community, what touches people in Yaoundé should touch people in Southwest. When there was a time here that they had a fire disaster in Yaoundé, everybody was worried. Cameroonians were worried. When there was a time that military put death at the Boko Haram, many people were worried. There was a time the national team was to go for World Cup. People contributed money from all nations, all the regions. That's unity. Why is it that when something bothers a particular region, the rest act indifferent? Why when something concerns others, others rise up? That's my problem. The challenge about Boko Haram, there are Anglophones who are there. They are fighting against the Boko Haram insurgents, fighting against the north of Cameroon, because Boko Haram has not reached Littoral. It has not reached center. It has not reached Southwest. But you have military men who live in Northwest to go and fight there. That's unity. But why is it that when there is a challenge the other way, we don't see MPs from there stand up and say, you are clean our brothers, you are clean our sisters? All the MPs that left Northwest and Southwest stood in the glass house and spoke against Boko Haram, and even voted bills to send men to go and fight to declare and secure the north of Cameroon, because we saw it as part of us. Now, why had the MP also not written a note of agreement to send to the glass house to tell them that what is happening to our brothers in the north and southwest, we are not comfortable? They will only gather and then write to United Nations, United States Senate or Congress to tell them that they should not enter into Cameroon affairs. That tells you that our MPs are MPs in the name of MPs, and the MPs are MPing the MPs.
Ok, the MPs are MPing the MPs. Dr. Simo, vous voulez répondre?
Je voudrais,
Comme
bien
d'habitude.
que je n'aime pas, non pas comme d'habitude, mais sincèrement, vous allez peut-être tirer sur moi. Mais je dis toujours, depuis un certain moment, 4 ans que ça dure, moi j'ai une nouvelle vision de la crise anglophone. Et puis je dis souvent, il faudrait que lorsqu'on commence à parler de la crise anglophone, qu'on utilise beaucoup de pincettes et beaucoup de réserves. Parce que moi, à moins que son anglais, ça je vais le dire très trivialement, j'ai pas saisi, mais je l'ai entendu dire à un moment, lorsque les populations du Nord se tirent entre eux, c'est leur affaire, mais le pétrole qui est là, c'est pour le Cameroun. Qu'est-ce que c'est pour tout le monde? Quelque chose de ce genre. Je dis non, il y a un problème qui ne va pas. Il ne faudrait pas que on se comporte toujours face à la crise anglophone, ou alors que finalement la crise anglophone vienne diviser les Camerounais. Non. C'est pas parce qu'il y a la crise anglophone, parce qu'il y a Nord-Ouest, il y a Boko Haram, que l'on va remettre en cause le vivre ensemble des Camerounais. Je dis non. Et on ne peut non plus dire au jour d'aujourd'hui que si vous voulez qu'on les appelle des francophones, parce que moi je n'aime pas cette appellation, que les francophones n'ont rien contribué à la douleur concrète des personnes qui souffraient sur le terrain. Je dirais également non. Donc à un moment, lorsqu'on veut aborder ce questionnement, vraiment qu'on utilise les problématiques gouvernementales du système, mais au niveau des populations, au niveau du peuple, qu'on soit extrêmement vigilant.
Ma question était des députés. Hein.
Justement, j'ai pris simplement un élément. Je crois que je me suis fait... Non.
Vous pouvez avoir les inquiètes. Vous pouvez avoir les inquiètes. Nous parlons ici des députés.
Je vous écoute.
Voilà.
Je vous ai écouté.
Aucun député des autres régions s'est levé comme ça et parlé du problème de crise anglophone dans la maison de l'Assemblée nationale.
Non, non, ça
tu
peut...
es une personne personnelle, ton cœur est différent. Nous disons ce que la loi dit dans notre pays ici. Les députés ont ce droit pour se lever et dire dans la maison de l'Assemblée nationale que ça ne va pas avec nos frères au sud-ouest, pour nous faire comprendre que nous sommes les frères et nous vivons ensemble.
Je peux continuer?
Oui,
je suis d'accord avec ce que vous dites, mais je voulais commencer peut-être par la population avant d'arriver sur les députés que vous voulez bien. Oui. Non, quand vous dites aucun député, je ne voudrais pas revenir. Malheureusement, il n'y a pas un député, un militant du SDF ici, là, SDF, qui a souligné une pétition et qui est en train de vouloir valoir sa tête aujourd'hui. Non. Et deuxième élément, c'est pas parce que l'affaire n'est pas allée au-dessus ou alors sous les toits que vous auriez l'impression que
non, mais
les députés n'ont pas.
Ma question n'était pas.
Les députés n'ont pas. Les députés n'ont pas, n'est-ce pas, soulevé la question. Ça, je peux vous le promettre, c'est parce que c'est très calme que les députés n'ont pas soulevé la question. Voilà également un élément.
Okay,
moi, je voudrais concentrer.
Yeah, but the question was not necessarily on the Anglophone crisis. I was asking whether it is possible for us to see MPs from the West region actually come out to look into an issue that is happening in the North region. Can we get an instance where the MPs from the South region are talking about issues that are happening in the West region, not necessarily because we hear MPs only talk about issues when it concerns. Yes, it seems as if the notion of the MP is the MP for the nation no longer holds. Yeah.
Okay. The answer to your question is simple. How do they become MP in Cameroon?
Okay.
One. And why do we become MPs in Cameroon? Do you have the answer to your question?
What are you saying?
I mean, how do you become MPs in Cameroon? Do you think these guys you got in the glass house there, they are really elected by the people? Are you from? I mean, do you want to be a sincere guy and look yourself into the mirror and say, those guys in the glass house are there in Yaoundé, they have been elected by the people? No, I mean, let us not fool ourselves here. And sincerely, well, you can ask the question, but my concern is, I said your question, the answer to your question is simple. How do we become MPs in Cameroon? And why do we become MPs in Cameroon? I don't think the first mission of these guys is to take care of the affairs of the nation. I don't think so. The first reason why we become MPs in Cameroon is because we want a position where we can fit ourselves peacefully. And we're to benefit from this they call budget de machin whatsoever. And then we know how they become MPs in Cameroon. I said, if you want to look yourself into the mirror and say, those guys, those MPs, they are being elected by the people, then there is a problem somewhere. And then I will not continue the debate. So,
no, please, let him.
Before I continue, I don't want to go into that debate. It really don't. I'm not really. But before I continue, I would like to say something. He said something. There is a saying in French, my dear brother, that c'est très facile que ne prenez pas les lunettes d'aujourd'hui pour regarder les choses d'hier. I mean, it's very easy for you guys to say, Mr. Ayejo did not do this. Are you sure? If you were in the shoes of Mr. Ayejo, if you were in his position at that particular time, you will have done better. Please, before we say something, we got to be very, because today we are talking of a particular country, that is Cameroon. If you look around in the sub-region, what is Chad today? What is Central Africa? What is Togo? What is Gabon? And so on. We're talking of countries whereby no matter, we are decrying here the embezzlement, the poor management in the country, but still, despite all this, Cameroon is still very stable and the leading country of the sub-region. It means somebody has done something strong to put the pillar of a modern country. The poor management may have destroyed a lot of things. I said there were a lot of mistakes along the way, for sure. It's a human, there is no perfection in human doings. You don't expect perfection. But in that particular context, if you were at the position of Mr. Ayejo, are you sure you would have done better?
Can I answer to that question, Mr. Leo?
I'm not the one asking questions here.
Oh, you are indexing me, so I think I have to react.
No, maybe he will give you the floor. If he will give you the floor, and then you answer to the question. So what I'm saying, that we have to be, we have to be very calm when we're analyzing some of these problems. I am saying, Mr. Ayejo, no matter what you can say, this is somebody who has worked very hard to put the pillars of a modern country. And to him, he has his own way to define what he called national unity. And I'm not sure at his time, problem we are saying today was so, it was not the same, at the same level we're saying today. But along the way, there were a lot of mistakes. I agree. There was some certain things were done in the wrong way. I agree. But please, when we want to analyze things, especially things in the past, we have to be very careful.
Okay,
Thank
we
you.
have to be very careful. Please, if we have to be talking, once we talk, you are using your time.
It's no problem, Mr. Leo.
Okay.
But what I want to say is this: the fact that we are humans and we all have our weaknesses, we agree on that. But what I will also say is, Mr. Ayijo could still as well work so hard like he did, which we are not denying, without necessarily trying to change the form of the state from what it is or from what it was. Because when you say what he did, you are not sure if I were there I should have done better than he did or whatsoever thing. Now the question I want to ask is, if the idea was to consolidate unity, are we more united today than the United States, than Canada, than Australia, than the UK, than India, than the other countries we have here in Africa? I don't think so. That is why I said it was part of the mistakes he made. I have never said Mr. Ayijo as head of state did not work hard for Cameroon, but I'm saying that the idea of the referendum was based on falsehood, and it was part of those human mistakes therefore that he did, maybe even politically maneuvered by some persons. But of course we know that the idea of bringing the Southern Cameroonians and the French Cameroonians together was a preconceived machination to which he was a part of it. He only got it hidden till 1972, but it was a hidden agenda that was already on the table. So talking about Mr. Ayijo as a man of a statesman, a statesperson who worked so hard, I am not disputing the fact, but I'm saying therefore, just like you rightly say, that he is human and he made errors. That was one of the grievous errors that he committed in this country by bringing in that so-called referendum to declare what we call today a national day, and we are talking about unity, which does not exist. Now, I have heard people here mention several things about national emblems and whatsoever thing. One thing I want to say is this: having a flag, having a national anthem, or whatsoever thing, does not in themselves indicate the fact that we have unity. And that's the problem we have in this country today. People think that because there is a flag in this country, automatically the flag. Let me tell you, I'm sorry to say this here, Mr. Liu, on your plan, but I was saying a flag is a piece of cloth which can be changed by the people at any time.
Yeah, but
so the piece of cloth in itself is not the unity.
Please. That you have you responded to what he said?
I have responded to what he said.
Yeah. We have just 20 more minutes to discuss, and there are things that we have to discuss. We are not going to describing a flag as a piece of cloth. Please, I'm sure we are taking exception to that. It is a national symbol.
Mr. Liu, let me say something.
No. You say other things, but I will not.
Of course,
yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm saying things right.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you take the American flag today and you play with it, you say this is a piece of cloth. No. Tomorrow, if the PAP takes power in this country, I'm not sure you'll be very happy that they describe the flag of the nation as a piece of cloth.
No, Mr. You are getting me wrong, Mr. Liu. You are getting me wrong. What I'm saying is this: are we together?
Yeah.
The flag of a nation is decided upon by the people.
Yeah.
Are we together?
Yeah.
But now, like I mentioned, the word unity, like the flag, the word unity does not just rely in that flag that we have. Okay. It goes with actions. Okay. So what are when we hoist that flag? What actions do we put in place that accompany the hoisting of the flag to show that we are together? That's what I'm saying.
How do we?
For instance, For instance, when we talk about the military today, when you look at the theme for this National Day celebration, are we together? It has to do with something the military and the people standing together against COVID-19, and then national unity and all. But now imagine that we are hoisting the flag in our country that symbolizes national unity, and at the same time we are burning the houses of the Syrian Republic. Is that the national unity we are talking about? Okay. Is that the symbol of that flag we are hoisting? It is in that sense that I am saying that we should not just think that because we have a flag, we dishonor the flag, rather by virtue of the actions that we pose, which is not therefore honorable both to the flag that we honor and then the people of the nation or the population.
Okay, Andrew Atemebako, let's look at we're talking of national unity. How has the old guard and the new guard, I'm talking about the new generation, how have they worked together to ensure that smooth transition? Do you think that there is harmony between these two different generations of Cameroonians, or there is a very wide gap amongst them?
Mr. Liu, there is no gap,
and
there is no problem between these two groups of people, because these are two groups of people who have the same origin, even though their history may want to describe them to be separate, but these are people of the same origin. So I will not say that there's any problem or they are not in harmony. No, the Cameroonians.
There is no generational gap.
No, there is not. The problem in Cameroon, though we may have an ongoing crisis on ground in Northwest and Southwest, does not mean Cameroon as a whole does not have a problem. The so-called Francophones themselves are also having their own problem. It's not because it has not been put on the table or because they are not fighting. It means that it's only the Anglophones that are having problem. We should be clear about this thing. I've tried to put down some formats and some easy explanations in such a way that it's easy for us to understand. From when we talk about the national unity, like he also rightly said, we do not know at what position Ahidjo was before he took those decisions, but like from what we know as history made us to understand, he did not do it as a personal decision. He was mainly trying to solve a problem which today has become a bigger problem because some other person is running a vision of another person. So let us look at it from that light. So Mr. Leo, when I talk about how do we go from here, living in one nation, being Cameroonians, and how do we emerge, like I keep saying, we have to take a decision here, because all this in-house fighting will take us nowhere. If we Cameroonians, as Cameroonians, do not engage into what I call an all-inclusive dialogue, to be able to see ourselves as people of the same country, having the same voice, having the same vision, and having the same goal for their nation, we will not be able to emerge from where we are. We understand that we have a problem of leadership. The fact that the head of state has its own difficulties, has its own weaknesses. It is true that many government administrators have taken advantage due to that, and they are also mismanaging the leadership of the nation. So what do we do from where we are? Do we go and fight ourselves, or do we as Cameroonians come together and say, today we want change? Get this government into pressure as Cameroonians to make decisions that can favor the people. Because as long as we allow the system the way it is, knowing from where we are coming from, Cameroon is not run by Cameroonians. Cameroon is run by France. It pains me when I see Cameroonians hitting their heads, fighting, when we know that we can do something about our situation. There's no way, help will not come from our government. I have said that change can come from any angle. We have waited from the international community. It is shown clearly that the situation we are going through today in Cameroon was designed by them. We are looking towards our leaders. They cannot do anything for us. What do we now do as Cameroonians? Because all of us are in the same shoe. The fact that the Northwest and the Southwest has picked up does not mean that the problem only limits there, though they may also be presenting the problem from a different angle. But Cameroon, as I know, 85% of its population are in the same kind of situation. That, how do you explain the fact, Mr. Liu, that Cameroonians are living in Cameroon? Either you want to travel out. If you don't succeed in traveling, is to join the government. How do you explain that? That means that the government has also become another a country where if people can get to, their life become better. So you come to realize that these are serious issues. It's just to say that, Mr. Liu, Cameroon has a general problem. And these are the strategies that were put in long ago, even before our independence. And when we keep talking, I've said it over and over, we can run down this road for 200 years, we won't get any solution. Okay. Let's stop the in-house fighting and let Cameroonians come together. It was not the British nor the French that brought us together, nor Ahidjo that brought us together. We were Cameroonians before all of this. So why can we not act as people who were together before they came and divided us? So that's why I said that it should have been reunification and not the national unity of Cameroon. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and welcome back on board. Good evening to all the panelists. I'm learning a lot. My mouth is zipped about the national unity celebration. Daisy is writing from Kumba. Daisy, glad reading from you. How are we united when we want to leave to the Southwest permanently? I shall be tagged Cam No Go in Yaoundé. I will either be referred to as a Nigerian or
in Bamenda that you came from Nigeria and you shall go back because you are not part of us. Okay, NS is writing from the United Arab Emirates. Those are the issues of tribalism. I don't know whether we'll have time to talk about it. Hello, Mr. Liu. Greetings to your panel. I'm glad the people of Cameroon now understand that there is nothing worth celebrating very soon. This day will be completely abolished. Ngupo Ngong is writing from Akale Street in Kumba. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm afraid that sooner or later children from the Northwest and Southwest will be referring to the 11th of February and 20th of May as ghost towns. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu and members on the panel. Unity in Cameroon is being forced on the citizens. Cameroonians have become frustrated with this issue of national unity. What prevails in Cameroon is tribalism, favoritism, mediocrity, all other vices. Eric is writing from Kumba. This one says, we cannot be talking of National Day while others are dying. Let truth be spoken. DK is writing from Boya. Mr. Liu, I thank the Prophet. Good evening. I follow your program so well, but let the doctor understand your views so well also. Okay, how can you manage a worry in a region you do not master? It's not serious. Napoleon is writing from Douala. Not only currency but also the ID shows we are one Cameroon. Derek is writing from Kumba. Good evening to you all in the studio. I enjoy your program. Mr. Liu, okay, good evening to you, Raina. Esther writing from, okay, Tabot Machiavelli. Good evening to you watching us from Yaoundé. Greetings to you today all in the house. There is no national unity in the country. The unity is for a certain class of people. It hurts when some of us hear the word unity. All of you in the studio are just wonderful. Be blessed, Chief. Ngenge is writing from Bomenda. Good evening to you, Chief. Let us look at the way out. Vous avez parlé avec après, non? C'est ça, non?
Non, je veux simplement me rassurer.
Ok, allez-y. Vous devez dire.
Donner la parole. C'est la seule dame.
Merci, je vous en prie pour votre degré de gentleman. Moi, je t'ai perdu ici. Non, ce que je voulais souligner, et puis c'est très important pour tous les politiciens, on ne peut pas évoluer, alors on ne peut pas être crédible en politique si on arrive même à un moment à renier la lumière du soleil. Je suis d'accord avec des gens lorsqu'on démontre clairement qu'il y a des évolutions, qu'il y a des choses à faire. Mais on ne peut pas venir sur un plateau à chaque fois, où on ne peut pas avoir de l'intérêt à chaque fois. Et on peut avoir la possibilité chaque fois et de faire comprendre aux citoyens ou alors aux auditeurs ou aux téléspectateurs qui nous écoutent que de 72 à 2021, il n'y a pas eu une évolution. Non, elle est perceptible, elle n'est même plus à discuter, elle n'est même plus à démontrer. Mais ce que nous sommes en train, ou alors l'élément sur lequel nous sommes en train de nous appuyer aujourd'hui, c'est qu'on aurait été beaucoup plus loin que cela. Ça, je peux être d'accord. Si, par exemple, on avait mis l'accent sur des valeurs propres à l'Afrique, comme la solidarité, comme l'équité, l'effort, le sens de l'effort, le mérite. Là, je peux comprendre. On serait allé beaucoup plus loin si on avait réduit, n'est-ce pas, ces fléaux comme le tribalisme, comme le favoritisme, comme le népotisme. Là, je peux être d'accord. Mais se lever avec aisance et dire sur un plateau que de 72 à 2021, on n'a pas d'école, on n'a pas de route, on n'a pas de... Je crois qu'il y a quelque chose qui ne va pas. Il faudrait que j'essaye de le rétablir. Parce que ce que nous voyons aujourd'hui, nous sommes d'accord et conscients qu'il y a une nette évolution et qu'il faut apprécier au jour d'aujourd'hui.
Okay, since we are left with just 10 minutes, very briefly, Apostle Lambe, what needs to be fixed in this national unity work?
The form of the state.
Okay.
The form of the state is the challenge in Cameroon. We started with a federal system, and the federal system was considered too expensive, and it could not manage us. Let us compare and contrast the federal system and the unitary system that was introduced. How costly was the federal system? What are the projects we accomplished within the 11 years of the federal system from 1961 to 1972? How much peace was in the country within the federal system? If we do this analysis and check on both sides, and then we check how many years, 49 years of the unitary state, what we have accomplished, how much peace do we have, how much of oneness do we have among ourselves, we put on a kilo, and then we should be able to know which of the form of the state is better to run the country. Because we have this issue of secession right now, another thing say federation, another thing say confederation, because we have not sat down as political technocrats to ascertain the system of government that can work in our system. Look at Britain. Britain has a monarchical system of government embedded in democracy, or democracy embedded in monarchy. That's strange. Recently, I heard Pa Adeboye said it was Britain that colonized Nigeria. So they started with the British system of government, which is the socialist system of government. They now move into capitalism, which is the American system. So they say, why don't they apply the true system of government to create Nigeria's own unique system of government? What have we as Cameroonians studied from other governments that we can take and blend together and that can fit the Cameroonian context? Because not all systems of government in the world are working the same. Depending on the demography of the people, the behavioral patterns of the people, the ethnicity of the people, we can as well bring a system of government that can be able to correlate all the regions and make us live in peace and quietness. So I think let us take federalism, confederation, and a system of monarchy embedded in democracy mixed together, or capitalism and socialism blend together, and then see if we can fit this system in such a way that everybody can live in peace. Because if not, we will keep on beating ourselves around the bush. It's like you are trying to force a container of 20 diameters round to a hole of 10 meters diameters. It cannot enter. So Cameroon is trying to force a system of government that doesn't work here. Let us see how we can be able to get other systems of government and blend them. Pa Adeboye said, well, from that he said, if they can be able to make a governor, then they make an assistant governor who manages petrol, and the other one manages this. All power is not concentrated in the hand of an individual. Let us be able to distribute power effectively. We don't actually know what is working for Cameroon. No, we don't know. If we know, that we will know, because America has its system, Britain has its system, Japan has its system. Cameroon should have its own system. Nigeria has its system. Now we have engaged federation. It did not work as compared to what they said. We have now compared broader unitary system. If we compare and contrast federation, I can tell you that federation was far more better and more controllable and more peaceful than what we are having right now. If the federation cannot still work, we say it's expensive. Let us now look for another system of government that can fit the Cameroonian context. Let's stop beating around the bush.
Okay, Andrew Atemibako, what should be the way out, fast-tracking the decentralization process with the putting in place of the regional assemblies and councils and giving them more powers to do their job?
Mr. Liu, we have seen that after the decentralization, power has not still left Yaoundé. This is to tell you that we have a more acute and more common problem, that with all the organizations and institutions that have been created and actors that have been put in place, power is still in Yaoundé. This is just to tell you that even if the country was still in a two-state federation, there will still be problem. This is even to still tell you that even if these two people never came together, wherever they would have been living apart, they would have still been having problems. This is very clear. Whether it goes into 10-state federation, that is Nigeria. The insecurity in Nigeria today is very high. That Cameroon, we can consider that Cameroon is in peace, but they have federation. So let us not get confused here. What we need to do, because I understand the way they have carved and the way they have played politics in Africa, we need to come together and ask France to leave this country before we even start fixing things. France needs to leave, because as long as France is here in Cameroon, we will never ever have peace. That is a simple truth. So if we are going to go forward, Mr. Liu, I said that Cameroonians need to come together and stand heavily behind their government, because there are times where the government wants to do something right, like when the head of state took over the seaport here in Douala from the hand of Bolloré. Today is Cameroon now managing that seaport. It is improving the lives of Cameroonians. If we have Cameroonians that stand behind their government, putting pressure and making sure that their government does what they want the government to do for them, trust you me, we will be able to help our government get rid of all these external influences that are managing. But the government cannot want to do something right, and then the same population is going against the same government when the government is trying to do something now right on their behalf. So all I'm saying here is that I'm not supporting the government. We saw what happened in Mali. There have been protests where no bloodshed has ever been done. How will I put it? No one was killed in that bloodshed in Mali. Cameroonians need to come together. The unity of Cameroonians must be felt among the Cameroonians themselves to come together and put pressure on their government to make policies that is going to improve the lives of Cameroonians.
Okay, Temi Bako, thank you. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and the panelists on board, especially Ebako Bisson, who is speaking my mind. Nicoline is writing from Bonaberry. Good evening to you. Nicoline, Mr. Liu, I love what is happening in Cameroon now. It has made Cameroon to now find out the Cameroon history. If we can manage our resources as to make all the regions have a piece of the national cake, let all the 10 regions should have their ministers shared equally. Okay, that is Napoleon. Okay, thank you very much, Napoleon. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I like your program, but I want to tell one of the panelists that there was no territory called Cameroon, but ethnic groups. So it's the Europeans who brought these ethnic groups under their political ideologies. So this territory called Cameroon has never been one. Okay, Roland is writing from Boya. Dr. Simo, what should be the way forward so that by the time we celebrate another 20th of May next year, things should be different?
Oui, c'est important. Il faudrait qu'on ne perde pas espoir, qu'on se dise qu'il y a une amélioration, qu'on reconnaisse déjà qu'il y a une amélioration et qu'on ne perde vraiment pas espoir. Mais moi, je pense que la véritable solution, c'est se déculturaliser. Et là, ce n'est pas seulement au niveau de du Cameroun, mais c'est un problème purement africain. Je crois que si les Africains revenaient à leurs valeurs, les valeurs propres au continent africain, telles que la solidarité, l'amour, le partage, le vivre ensemble, et des valeurs comment je vais appeler ça, de respect de certaines règles et valeurs, si tous les Camerounais ou encore tous les Africains revenaient à ces valeurs propres à elles, je crois que tout le continent africain se développerait très rapidement. Donc on essaie un peu de se déculturaliser, de se désolidariser du système occidental sous le prisme de la mondialisation. C'est vrai qu'on ne peut pas le faire. C'est pour ça que je dis qu'on essaye de se désolidariser et faire un retour sur nos valeurs propres africaines. Vous voyez par exemple maintenant avec le concept de homosexualité et que l'Afrique, la position de l'Afrique par rapport à ce concept-là, simplement parce qu'on est entré dans un système de mondialisation qui nous fait perdre le contrôle et perdre nos propres valeurs. Donc vivement qu'on revienne à nos propres valeurs africaines et on verra le continent se développer.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. I enjoy your program very much. Johnson is writing from Kumba. Good evening to you, Johnson. This one says, kudos, Mr. Ebako. You are just being frank. Pat Tabufo is writing from Bamenda. Hello, good evening to you all in the studio. I'm Alfred in Douala, New Bell. So my own contribution goes to that compared to Cameroon is not supposed to share things like we do share puff puff. It's not fair. Okay. Good evening to you, who is writing from New Bell out here in the nation's economic capital. Good evening, Mr. Kum and the experienced panelists. I love the debate. The unity of Cameroon is not concretized by the beautiful national emblems. Cameroon are divided by the governing class because those up there are working for their stomachs. Cha is writing from Bamenda. Muhammadu, good evening, Mr. Liu and co. The construction of Cameroon is just conflicting and full of ambiguity. Special greetings to Mr. Elvis Muhammadu. I was in Yaoundé yesterday. I tried to call you. Hope you're doing well. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Please help me tell the person who said we should go back to the days of when Cameroon was one, before the French and English. Cameroon had never been one. Okay. People is writing from Bamenda. He says in those days we had tribes. Monsieur Edmond Kwate, we are looking at the way out of the current impasse. Should we see a new breed of politicians who now see Africa, like we are saying, differently, Cameroon differently?
Well, I think there's a problem here. There's a saying in French that si tu confonds le procès, tu vas confondre la sentence.
Okay.
Si tu confonds le procès, tu vas confondre la sentence. Et I might continue in French, say, on fait le procès de quoi ici? Est-ce qu'on fait le procès du mode de gouvernance ou alors on fait le procès de la gestion des hommes? Les hommes qui ont pris la gouvernance en main.
My question to you is les hommes. This last question.
Oui, les hommes, ils ont échoué. Ils n'ont pas été capables. Parce que il faut connaître que le système unitaire a réussi sur d'autres cieux. Dans un pays comme la Chine, ils ne sont pas fédéralistes. Ils sont plus nombreux. C'est 1,5 milliard ou 2 milliards d'individus. Avec un système, n'est-ce pas, unitaire. Mais ils réussissent. C'est la première nation au monde. Donc, comparaison pour comparaison, les États-Unis, c'est un système fédéral. C'est la première puissance mondiale. La Chine, c'est la deuxième nation, si vous voulez, économique. La première économique, la deuxième militaire, peut-être la première et la deuxième économique. Mais c'était un système unitaire. Donc, c'est une question de vision. C'est une question de système de gestion. Il ne faut pas confondre le procès. Je l'ai dit, n'allez pas croire que le fédéralisme ou la confédération ou tout ce que vous voulez serait la panacée, ce serait la solution toute faite.
Yeah, but Nigeria is a federal system, but they are also faced with the
ils ont les problèmes aussi comme nous. Le Nigeria a des problèmes d'ordre économique et d'ordre sécuritaire.
Sécessionniste aussi.
Sécessionniste. Pourtant, c'est un système fédéral. Et donc, moi, j'ai dit, il faut comprendre que la cohésion sociale dans une nation est fonction de la vision que ceux qui dirigent le pays portent et leur capacité à pouvoir concevoir un projet fédérateur qui, n'est-ce pas, fédère vraiment toutes les compétences pour la construction de la nation et leur capacité à s'assurer de l'équité dans la justice sociale. Je l'ai dit, dès qu'il y a sentiment de rejet, dès qu'il y a sentiment d'ostracisme, dès qu'il y a sentiment de ségrégation, lorsqu'on commence à se poser la question, est-ce que j'appartiens vraiment à cette maison? Parce que vous sentez que, malgré vos efforts, malgré votre mérite, vous n'êtes pas embarqué dans l'ascenseur social. Vous devenez nuisible. Il n'y a plus, vous ne vous sentez plus l'obligation de protéger une maison à partir du moment où, chaque fois qu'on ouvre la marmite, on sert tout le monde et on ne vous sert pas. Vous ne vous sentez plus l'obligation de vous constituer en gendarme d'une maison à partir du moment où tout le monde dort le ventre plein et vous dormez le ventre affamé. On peut tous dormir le ventre affamé dans une maison s'il n'y a rien. Si tout le monde est d'accord et qu'il n'y a rien. Mais si on se rend compte qu'il y a un peu et que ce n'est que l'affaire des autres, alors à partir de ce moment, on ne se sent plus, n'est-ce pas, membre de cette maison à part entière. Donc c'est ça le problème. Il faudrait être capable de concevoir des politiques qui garantissent la justice sociale, l'équité. Et c'est de ces choses-là que dépendent la paix, la cohésion et la stabilité sociale. Tant que vous aurez des hommes qui sont frustrés parce qu'ils ne se sentent pas intégrés socialement, tant que vous aurez des hommes qui sont frustrés parce qu'ils ne se sentent pas pris en compte dans le système de gestion sociale, eh bien, ils vont devenir des dangers. Ils vont se constituer en ennemis de la maison, en ennemis de la nation, et ne leur en voulez pas. Donc, il ne s'agit pas d'un problème de système de gouvernance, même si je suis d'accord qu'il faudrait donner plus de possibilités aux gens de gérer un peu plus d'autonomie, même si je suis d'accord que un système central, un système centralisé, s'il est mal géré, il pourrait être source de tension sociale parce que les gens ne se sentent pas pris en compte, même si je suis d'accord qu'il faudrait donner plus d'autonomie. Mais je dis, la Chine est un système unitaire et centralisé, mais qui réussit à donner un peu plus de meilleurs vivres à tous les Chinois et qui réussissent à devenir la première, à bousculer la première puissance mondiale qu'est-ce que sont les États-Unis. Donc je dis, ne confondons pas de procès. N'allons pas croire tout de suite qu'en allant à un système de fédération, tout de suite, c'est la panacée, c'est la solution à tous les problèmes.
S'il n'y a pas de bonne gouvernance.
S'il n'y a pas de bonne gouvernance.
Okay. Agbo Lawrence writing from Loom. Good evening, Mr. Liu. If all the panelists had good arguments like Apostle Ambe and Mr. Ibako, this would force the government to take its position. Good evening, sir. If something should be fixed after 49 years, it should be how the unity came about, because if this is properly handled, the better for those who keep losing life in daily. Okay, the great Calvo writing from Bomenda. Good evening, Mr. Liu. And panelist Mr. Bako is talking some sense. Orok Tabe is writing from Kumba. Greetings to all. What exactly does Smith from Boya? You're asking what exactly are they saying? Mr. Elvis Jine, yeah, way forward for Cameroon's work towards better national unity and integration. You think that the Bilingualism Commission should be given more powers, or they should get more active in getting Cameroonians to value this notion of living together?
Well, Bilingualism Commission, like other commissions, to me, those are things, first of all, I would say they are on the secondary plan. But I want to think that if we are talking about the way forward as of now, to me, the very first thing is we must be able to build a country on basis of honesty. And when I talk about honesty, I am still going back to the history of the country. We must go back to our roots. There is no way we can pretend to go forward. You must know where you come from. Look at your past mistakes, be able to correct them now to be able to better off the future. But if we think that we can improve on our future by simply maybe turning a blind eye to the past, then I think there's a problem. We must go back to our history and find out exactly at what level of the history errors were committed, and what were the errors that were committed, and what was the magnitude of those errors, so that we can better correct them now to be sure that tomorrow will be better. So in other words, I'm saying it's true that like someone just said, it could be a confederation or any other thing. It will not automatically be a solution, because it will still depend on the governance. But I want to think that if we were, for instance, to go back to a federal system as it was, at least I think there are conditions that will begin for that federation that if everybody respects, it will be far off better off than what we have today. Because like Mr. Ambe Riley said a few minutes back, if you were to compare 1961 to 72 and then 72 to present date, you would describe somewhere somehow that the earlier years were far better off than where we find ourselves today. Secondly, I want to think as way forward still, there is a need for some sort of a national reconciliation. I'm not talking about national dialogue. National reconciliation where Cameroonians should be able to reconcile themselves within them, among themselves. People should be able to look at their brothers eye to eye and tell them, I am sorry for this thing I did, I am sorry for this thing I said. If you truly and honestly recognize that you did things that you were not supposed to have done, that you said things that were wrong, people should be able to humble themselves and apologize for those things as a way forward. There is no way we can equally grow if we have to do everything and do it out of pride. The next thing I would say still with respect to the way forward is that the regime in place must be able to work to the best interest of the people and not to the best interest of their own selfish intentions. Because like one of my brothers again said here, you know, we can talk about rallying behind the government. It's but normal that in a country the people should be able to rally behind the government, but you cannot rally behind your government if the government itself does not work for you. If the government itself does not stand to work to your own best interest. Because at one point in time we have people who have good ideas, who are willing to propose or who even propose good things, but at the end of the day, when you propose such ideas, it's the regime that even tax you an enemy within the house and not or any other person. It is not France that prevents the government from building roads or rendering services to the nation.
Okay, Mr. Elvis, thank you very much. We are way behind schedule. There is going to be a live program this evening. We just want to say thank you, Ebako, thank you, Apostle, for coming, and to you, Dr. Simo, and to you, Edmond Kwate. We hope that you are going to be regular as you were in the past, and to you, Njine, thank you for coming all the way from Yaoundé. We want to thank you too, Desmond, Eli, and Bertrand and Noel, producing the program, and to you, Tambe Bryant, who is supervising all the programs we do out here. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.